What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. But you guys, our team builder here for the playoffs in the APA. The St. Louis Rampardos are taking on the Miami Donphans in an epic matchup here, a rematch from the regular season to kick off the playoff hype. Now, I just want to let you guys know, last time we played Kyle A, it was a bit of a struggle. We actually ended up forfeiting the match because I didn't have any way to beat Porygon 2 at that point in the game. And it was a struggle, man. He brought some crazy stuff, dude. Sub, Life Orb, Darmanitan, and most notably was the Choice Scarf Seismitoad and a very fast Porygon 2. I was really surprised about the team that he brought because I felt like a lot of those Pokemon didn't make a ton of sense against my team. Obviously, they worked for him, but he's used up a lot of his tricks. So, I am aware, I am ready to rock, and I feel actually really good going into this battle, being totally honest, despite the fact that, he kind of destroyed us last time. If you remember in the, I believe it was the NPA or the WBE, Kyle beat me in the regular season with a low punny set, and then I ended up beating him in the playoffs. So hopefully we can repeat history here again and come up with a W in the playoffs. But let's talk about his team. We'll talk about my team, what I'm bringing, why I'm bringing it, and everything in between. So he's got that Tapu Koko, which is one of his Z-Crystal users. Tapu Koko, incredibly fast, hard-hitting Pokemon, does set the electric terrain. Obviously pairs really nicely with the Hawlucha. Tapu Koko in this match has to run Thunderbolt and Dazzling Gleam. And then from there, U-turn is an option. He could also try to run Grass Knot if he's worried about Lantern. So that's a main, kind of a main priority there. Nature's Madness, maybe Taunt, Calm Mind, couple different sets there. If he thinks he could potentially try to set up on my Houndoom or something, switching it out. He's got the Hawlucha, of course. Hawlucha does get that double Unburdened speed boost because of the Electric Seed, which is most likely the set he brings. Electric Seed boosts his defense, boosts his speed up 2 stages, and then he hits incredibly hard. Hawlucha is kind of a problem just because it does hit really, really hard, but I have a couple different checks to it. I expect like a Swords Dance, Acrobatics, Fighting Move set. He's got the Porygon 2, which last time he brought Tri-Attack, Toxic, Recover, and Substitute. Very weird Porygon 2 set, but it worked because he was able to kind of set up the Substitute and block my Cresselia from really doing anything and poison me back. Really cool idea on his part. I don't think it made the most sense because I have a Como-O on my team that can set up all over that Porygon. So I was really surprised that he brought that Porygon set. And I also have a Mimikyu, which is immune to its attacks. All it could do is Toxic me. Like, it just felt like such a weird set, but it worked for him. I don't think he brings the same thing again because he's going to know that I'm aware of it now. The trick is gone, but I have prepared, obviously, for that. And then the standard, like, bulky P2. Which is, if he brings P2, it's going to be, which I'm pretty sure he will. It'll be, Toxic, Trick Room, Recover, or not Trick Room, Tri-Attack, maybe Ice Beam. There is a chance that he does try to bring Trick Room, though. He's got the Serena, which I don't think comes to this match just because me having the Sun makes it really difficult for Serena, but basically this thing is a pretty bulky grass type with Rapid Spin. Haxorus is his other Z-Crystal user. He didn't bring it last time, but it is something that I could see him bringing with a Dragon Dance. Z Outrage set could be really, really good with my only fairy being Mimikyu. He didn't bring it last time. I'm not sure whether he's going to bring it this time again, but I do have the proper responses to it. The thing with Haxorus is it doesn't do anything to Celesteela, and it gets outsped by a couple things in my team. So Haxorus is kind of like, it's a really good Pokemon, but it's not that great against my Pokemon, especially when I have like a Cresselia and stuff. Alolan Persian is kind of annoying just because it's got Fake Out, Parting Shot, things like that, but generally Alolan Persian isn't that scary against my team. It's Speed Ties with Houndoom, which kind of is iffy for him. It does give him some momentum, but with me having some really hard hitters, Como-O, things like that can come in against that thing and really put in the work, I just don't see Alolan Persian coming when I think he has better options. Rhenoclist is something that I do think could come, though. Rhenoclist could be a Trick Room set. It could be like a bulky Calm Mind set. It could be an Assault Vest set. He's got a lot of different options for Rhenoclist, and it does have the proper coverage moves to make that happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if he brings like Offensive with Psychic, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, if that's kind of the way he wants to go about it. Or if he goes like more bulky. He's got a couple different options there for that Rhenoclist. Like I said, yeah, he didn't bring it last time. He could bring one with Thunderbolt for Celesteela. So like he does have those options. I think it's a good Pokemon, and I think he may bring it. Again, Trick Room does seem pretty scary, and it's hard for me to take down Rhenoclist, just being honest, especially if he's like Recover and stuff. He's got the Darmanitan, which last time he brought Life Orb, Sheer Force, Darmanitan in Sun with Substitute. That was so hard for me to take down because I had to throw like half my team at it to break the Substitute. I was not expecting Substitute. Now we are expecting it. you know, and again, I thought that Darmanitan set was really weird last time too, because it was total Coma O fodder, again, which I was just surprised about. You know, I felt like some of his sets, I felt like his team, like he knew exactly what I was bringing, which was hard to say when I felt like I had so many things that could have been brought otherwise. But either way, Darmanitan just a big threat, man. You know, you got to be careful with that. I don't know if he brings the same set, but either way, Flare Blitz in the sun is insane. I don't really have any switch-ins to it. He's got the Weezing, which is kind of an iffy pick. I think Weezing has some viability because it can kind of stop some stuff. It kind of stops my Mimikyu in some ways. It kind of, you know, can take on Lycanroc a little bit and Staraptor, but generally, you know, Weezing struggles against other things. Like, what is it going to do against Celesteela if it's especially offensive? What is it going to do against, you know, Coma O, which can block its Sludge Bomb? It can substitute in front of a Will-O-Wisp. It's just kind of a tough place for him there. He's got the Seismitoad, which is his only Stealth Rocker, so that's really important to note. Last time he brought Choice Scarf Seismitoad, and again, I just didn't think that made sense. I have a Celesteela and a Cresselia. He brought Choice Scarf Seismitoad to bait my Houndoom. It worked. I was really far behind. There wasn't much I could do. I actually ended up misclicking and not clicking Flame Charge on the turn prior, which meant the Seismitoad outsped. I don't know if that was going to make a difference, but there was a mistake on my part that allowed that Seismitoad to work. I don't think a Scarf Seismitoad works again. Rain Dance Seismitoad maybe, but I don't think Scarf Seismitoad makes a ton of sense. I think he will bring Seismitoad though. It is his only Stealth Rocker, and he can run Earth Power, Scald, maybe even Ice Beam or Icy Wind or something like that. And then last but not least is Mega Scissor, which he brought last time. Never got to see it. Kind of has a weird matchup because it's totally walled by Celesteela. You know, Nidoking obviously beats it, Coma O beats it, Houndoom and Torkoal beat it. So I do think if there's a Pokemon that's going to be left off the roster, it would be Scissor. So I think Koko, Lucha, Porygon 2, Seismitoad, bam, Darmanitan is 5, and then either Reuniclus or Scissor, or Haxorus, I guess, is probably the 6 that he brings. But again, Haxorus walled by Celesteela completely, so that thing has some trouble. You know what I mean? So he definitely has his work cut out for him, making the 6 that he's going to be bringing. So let's talk about what I'm bringing and why we're bringing it. Let's kick things off here with Cresselia. I got a physically defensive Cresselia with enough speed for max speed Porygon 2. I learned my lesson. That also means we're going to be faster than a lot of variants of Mega Scissor, which is nice. But we've got a good amount of physical defense. I can take 2 Flare Blitzes from Darmanitan if it's not Sunny and he is not Life Orb. I can also take on, you know, Acrobatics from Hawlucha. I can take on a Z Dragon Dance or a Z Outrage +1 from Haxorus. Moonlight gives us a tremendous amount of recovery in the sun. Toxic for Porygon 2, obviously. Psychic to weaken things, specifically Hawlucha, which gets that Electric Seed. Toxic, really nice for things like Reuniclus. This is a great switch into Seismitoad. It's a great switch into Weezing. It's a great switch into Hawlucha. It can take a hit from Koko. Obviously, Hidden Power Fire there for Scissor. If I predict the switch into Scissor, you know, especially if that Porygon gets weakened, Scissors is likely switching, and then I can just hit that thing with a nice Hidden Power Fire. The next Pokemon we're bringing is Mohawk. Now, I saw some people make some comments in the last episode of the last match of the regular season saying, you know, Whimsicott never got any action. Staraptor only came to 3 games. Guys, I only had them for 1 game. I picked up Whimsicott and Staraptor at the end of the season for the last week of the season. Not for the last week, but really for the playoffs. Like, I made the moves to put them on the team for the playoffs because I knew I was going to face Kyle or I was going to face Jacob, and I liked the way Whimsicott and Staraptor matched up against their teams versus what I had prior, which was Ribombee and Celebi. So I felt like this was a better option. So Staraptor, this is actually the first game Staraptor's coming to for me because I only had it for 2 games now. But Choice Scarf Staraptor, man, looks phenomenal against his team. So it outspeeds things like Haxorus and Darmanitan. So if you bring Scarf Darmanitan, I'm faster. Really important to note there. We're going to basically be one-shotting a lot of his team, or 2-shotting his team with Brave Bird Double Edge. He doesn't really have switch-ins, especially if I can get Stealth Rocks up. U-turn for momentum. Quick Attack is just there in case I need to come in on something that might be faster than me, like Lucha, who gets that, you know, Unburden boost. Really, it's kind of just a fail-safe because you never know. But realistically, this Staraptor rips through his team. Even like Porygon 2 doesn't want to take 2 double edges if rocks and it's poison. Like, it just doesn't. So we have a lot of options there. Obviously, this thing gets worn down, but it's important to note that after Stealth Rocks, it comes in against Koko. It can revenge Koko. He doesn't really have safe switch-ins. I can Brave Bird, I can U-turn, things like that. It's also a great lead Pokemon because it matches up really well against Darmanitan lead, which is what he did last time. It matches up okay against Porygon. I could just U-turn out. It matches okay against Seismitoad. I could either attack or U-turn, things like that. And again, Like his only switch in a double edge is Scissor. His only switch in a Brave Bird is really, you know, Coco. So I really like this Staraptor set. So I think it's just a no-brainer. The next Pokemon we're bringing is Nidoking, which we did not bring last time. Nidoking is rocking max HP, max special attack, a very bulky Nidoking, because I didn't feel like it was necessary to be faster than Scissor, because Scissor's only gonna bullet punch me anyway. It wasn't really necessary to be faster than, if he runs max speed Seismitoad, so be it. He's gonna think I'm faster anyway. Weezing, I don't care if it's faster than me. You know, Porygon 2, I don't care if it's faster than me. Serena, I don't care. Like, anything that he could make really fast to outspeed Nidoking, I don't really care that they're faster. Reuniclus isn't going to be fast to me unless it's Trick Room. This set is designed to break through his Porygon 2, specifically, and also check his Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko really can only HP Ice against me or Nature's Madness. I can Flamethrower, great coverage against his team, especially Scissor. Earth Power hits everything else pretty hard. Toxic, specifically for Porygon 2, his best switch in Nidoking is that Porygon 2. I can just click Toxic and Intoxicate, and then I can Super Fang it, lower his HP, he's sitting below half, and then he's forced to recover as the Toxic starts wearing down on him, allowing me to gain complete momentum in the match and hopefully be able to put in some serious work. So really loving this Nidoking set. He can't just recover stall it, and I don't think he's gonna expect Toxic, you know what I mean? Like, and it's a really good option. Like, Coco comes in, I just go into Nidoking, I can just click Toxic, no big deal. So I can also live Flare Blitz from Darmanitan as well, which is nice to note, and I can Earth Power it. So we are very bulky, and I think that helps, but we still have the power with Modest, Life Orb, Flamethrowers, and Earth Powers, which just do a tremendous amount of damage to his team. The next Pokemon is going to be our Peekaboo, our Mimikyu. Really was torn about this slot here because I'll tell you, it was either Celesteela, Mimikyu, Whimsicott, or Como-O. I was really torn with this fourth slot, and I did some testing, I did some practice battles, and Mimikyu was the one that made the most sense to me. So Shadow Call, Play Rough, Swords Dance, Shadow Sneak. I feel like having that disguise is so clutch for things like Hawlucha. If things get a little out of control, I can always bring Mimikyu in. I can fire off that big Mimikyu MZ Play Rough, which destroys Hawlucha and really destroys pretty much everything on his team. Darmanitan can take it, Weezing can take it, and Scissor can take it. I get that. Ghosty MZ, you might say, well, Ghosty MZ is better against his team, and it is. Ghosty MZ is better against his team, but this thing gives me something that can take on Hawlucha, not have to stress about it. You know, I can bop that thing, no doubt. So I want to make sure that I have that. You know, Ghosty MZ is good because it hits Scissor harder, it hits Darmanitan harder, it hits Reuniclus harder. That's important, but at the same time, I just felt like Mimikyu MZ allows me to break through Porygon 2, and it allows me to break through the Hawlucha, which is really what Peekaboo is all about. And if I can get a Swords Dance up and start Shadow Sneaking late game, that is going to be really clutch too, because we'll actually be doing a good amount of damage there. And then we're bringing the sun, baby. Franklin's coming with that Heat Rock, Stealth Rock, Rapid Spin, Earth Power, Lava Plume. Learned my lesson from last time that Darmanitan is not getting free substitutes up against me. I got Earth Power now. I can cover that. Gives me something to hit Lucha Coco super effectively. It gives me another check to Scissor. So if he wants to bring Scissor, I can switch into Scissor all day. You know, things like that. So obviously, Darmanitan does wreck us, but generally we can do some decent damage against his team. I can burn some things, and I can take on some physical attacks. This thing also kind of handles Lucha too. Like, he has to go +2 acrobatics, and even that I don't think kills after Stealth Rock. So, you know, we're gonna be really bulky, max physically defensive. And then last but not least is the Doombringer, man. Houndoom, Sirius, coming back, max speed, max special attack, basically. Flamethrower, Flame Charge, Dark Pulse, Solar Beam, same set as last time. And the reason for that is I really feel like this is the best set. Flamethrower, Dark Pulse, they just destroy his team. This is a great answer to Reuniclus. Eevee Trick Rooms, I obviously have to be very careful because of Focus Blast. Cresselia can kind of wall it a few turns. Torkoal can kind of take some hits, so I can kind of stall that Trick Room out. But if Sun is up and Houndoom comes in, he has nothing that can safely come in on this thing except for Porygon 2, and that's getting blown back by 2 Flamethrowers. So aside from Trick Room, Houndoom just obliterates. Now he does have things that can come in that are faster though. He could always bring in a Scarf Darmanitan. He could always bring in a Scarf Coco just regular Tapu Koko. He's got things that are faster than Houndoom, but I can check them now because I have Staraptor, I have Nidoking, I have the proper defensive/offensive checks to kind of switch in and switch around and make that work. So Houndoom, got to get that sun up, really wrecking his team with that. Hopefully, you know, last time I led with Torkoal and that allowed his Darmanitan to get a ton of momentum. I don't have to do that this game. I can lead with something like Staraptor, I can lead with Nidoking, I can do something different, and that really helps us out. So that's our team builder, man. I'm going into it just trying to have some fun. I did some practice battles. I felt really good about my practice matches, and I'm ready to go. I want to get this win against Kyle, and I want to keep going in the playoffs. So thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button down below. Match goes up tomorrow. My name is Dan. I also go by aDrive, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. Thanks so much for checking out my last video. If you like that one, you'll definitely like this one, and be sure to subscribe for more as I post Pokemon videos every single day.